BCom semester 3, economics, chapter number 3, investment and saving. So, guys, in our previous lecture, we were at there are some suggestions about the we can say increase, or we can say raise more saving in the public sector. Following steps should or need to be taken. So, to raise more saving in the public sector, here are certain steps that need to be taken. Public sector can raise more saving resources through taxes on the agriculture income that are exempted from the preview of income tax for the present. So, guys, as you know very well that there is no tax on agricultural production. So, government should impose tax on the agricultural income, and by this way, government, or we can say public sector, can raise the saving. Second point is there is need for heavier taxation of luxury goods and luxury expenditure. So when people saves when people has high income, they will spend most of their money on luxurious goods and expenditure, goods and services. So to control the high expense on the luxurious goods, government should impose heavier tax on the luxurious goods, so people will expend less on the luxurious goods. Third thing is effective step need to be taken to plug tax evasion in the economy. Government should take such a step so that it can get higher tax paid people from the country. Fourth point is the profit of the public undertakings can be raised by cutting losses through improved operational methods and better capacity utilization, and adopting a pricing policy appropriate for bringing higher profits. So, guys, there should be some of the steps that need to be taken by the government by which it can increase the rate of saving in the country. The next point is the raise of non-development expenditure of the government should be effectively curbed. So, guys, there are some of the non-development expenditure of the government that should be effectively curbed. And seventh point is reduction in non-development expenditure. Government should reduce the non-development expenditure. Government should not expense money on, we can say, on the political agendas, or for the political parties, or government should not expense money on some of the policies which are not considered as a development policy. So these of all these things, or government should also not expense the money on the canvassing of the people, or some of the policies which are not much we can say effective for the development of the economy. So there should be reduction in non-development expenditure. Eighth point we are given here is increase in the per capita income. Government should try to increase the per capita income. Increase in the per capita income is a precondition to for the raise in the rate of capital formation. Per capita income increases when either the national income increases or the population declines. As such, on one hand, birth rate should be reduced, and on other hand, production of agriculture and industry should be raised. So here, by increasing the per capita income, there should be increase in the rate of saving. So, guys, this is what the 8 point given here. The nine point we will see price stability. Too much of the raise or fall in price should be checked. Checking of rise in the prices will enable for the people to save more. If there will be no high price, or we can say if the prices of product of goods and services is low, people are able to save more. But if the prices of product is high, people are not able to save more. So if you want to increase the rate of saving, there should be price stability in the market. Now the 10th point we are having on the screen is liberal policy of the government. Government should pursue liberal credit, fiscal, industrial policies. Liberal policies encourage people to save and invest more. If sorry, it has healthy effect on the rate of capital formation. So government also should pursue liberal credit, fiscal and industrial policy. There should be easy access to get loan from the bank. There should be low rate of taxation. There should be we can say encouragement of the saving and investment in the country. Government should issue some kind of schemes. We can say make in India, made in India. So by doing such kind of scheme, people will be attracted to do the saving and investment in the country. So by doing such kind of activity, there will be high rate of saving and investment in the country. Now guys, we will look at saving that and we will understand the meaning and the explanation of saving, that what is saving. So as we have already explained this point earlier, now we will now we will understand the saving. Okay, guys. So now we will read read the explanation of the saving. Saving is the excess of income over current consumption. Means, guys, whatever the income of the person is, when we subtract, total expenses, from the total income, we will get saving. So here we are given the formula of the saving is equal to income minus consumption. Consumption means total expenses which is occurred due to consumption of the goods and services, where saving, S stand for saving, Y stand for income, and C stands for consumption. Thus, something out of current consumption is set aside to become available for production purposes. People depends upon many factors like power to save, will to save, opportunity for collecting saving, that is provision for banks, insurance companies, etc. In the countries where the above factors are favorable, there is more saving. There are three sources of our domestic saving, guys. As we already have discussed these points, we will do it again. Public sector saving, private corporate sector saving, and household sector saving. So in the countries, there are three different sectors from which the saving is generated. The one is public sector saving, second is private corporate sector saving, and third is household sector saving. Now we will see the rate of saving. The rate of saving holds the key to the size of investment is an economy. The rate of saving is an economy is measured as, here we are given the formula that we have already seen in the previous page. That is rate of saving is equal to total gross saving in a year divided by gross national product during the year. And we are also given the same table as we have seen on the earlier page, and here we are given, it would be seen from the table that the rate of saving had been picking up well during the first three plans, but then it came down during the fourth plan. It marked that revival in the subsequent plans, although saving increased only at a slow pace. So in India, the saving is increased only at a low pace. The slow pace of increase in saving is accounted for by the following factors. There are some factors due to which the rate of saving is low in the country. The one is the saving of the household sector had shown a smaller size, or we can say a smaller rise. These were partly influenced by the larger availability of consumer goods, both durable and non-durable goods. Second thing, the saving of the government sector have shown a sharp deterioration. Third thing, other important factors have been lower productivity both in the agricultural and the non-agricultural sector, and rapid growth of population. So here are three different factors which affect the low rate of saving in the country. Now, inflow of foreign saving. How the foreign saving has the flow in the country, we will see under it. The rate of domestic saving has not been adequate to meet the investment needs of the economy. So whatever the saving has been done in the country, if we talk about only the domestic saving, then it is not enough to meet the investment needs of the economy. So we need to rely on the foreign savings. So guys, we need to be dependent on the foreign savings. The gap between investment and domestic saving has been filled through the foreign saving. The annual gap in the respective first, second, third annual and fourth plan has been 2.0, 2.5, 2.3, 2.8, and 0.8% respectively. So guys, this is how the foreign saving contributed in our country in the investment. Rate of saving had picked up well during the fifth plan. The gap between domestic investment and saving came to be breached up. Only 0.3% gap was left to be covered by foreign borrowings. However, during the subsequent plan, domestic saving fell short of the domestic investment. So this is how, guys, the foreign savings also is very required to fill the gap between the domestic saving and the requirement of the investment in the country. And we will see now importance of foreign savings, importance of importance of capital formation or saving. What is the importance of saving? Why do we need to do the saving? What happens when we do the savings? So guys, here are some of the importance that we will see one by one. If there is a saving, there will be rapid increase in economic development. By doing saving, there will be we can say we will able to produce more goods and services, and by producing more goods and services, we will be able to satisfy the needs of people, and by doing this, there will be rapid increase in the economic development. Second, increase in employment. When there is a higher rate of investment in the country, there will be higher rate of the employment. People will get an employment, they will earn money, they will save money, and it will also lead to the increment in the investment. Third point is formation of human capital. Capital formation helps the growth of human capital. Expenditure on health, education, social service, and social welfare is an investment on human capital. We can say this kind of investment can be considered as human capital. In the word Quintus, main capital stock is the character and efficiency of the people. Investment on education and health increases the productivity of the labor. Now, guys, we will see double task. What is double task? We will see over here. IZ Hussain and Harrod and Domer are of the opinion that capital formation has dual effect on economic development. On one hand, effective demand of the economy increases due to investment, as the latter increases the level of income. On other hand, investment contributes to increase in production or aggregate supply. So guys, we can clearly understand that when there is high rate of investment, there will be higher the production of goods and services. And guys, when there is high rate of production of goods and services, people will people will use, or we can say we are able to satisfy the needs of goods and services of the people very well. So there will be we can say investment contributes to increase in production aggregate or aggregate supply. Technical progress. Backward technology is the principal constant in the growth process of less developed countries, and technology remains backward owing to the shortage of capital. If we do not have capital, if we do not have money, then we will not be able to adopt a new and adequate technology. So when there is high rate of saving, when there is higher saving, people will be able, or we can say there will be we can acquire a good and adequate technology by using the money of the saving. So when there is high rate of saving, it is very important of the saving so that we can be technically progressed. Sixth point is creation of overhead capital. Without overhead capital, roads, means of transport, canals, multi-purpose project, powerhouses, etc., economic development is not possible. To increase the facility of overhead capital, it is essential to increase the rate of capital formation. Next, we have that self-reliance. Capital formation promotes production in the country, and such as imports can be reduced and export can be increased. Raising export imply large foreign earnings. It lessens the dependence on foreign countries. So we will also be we can say self-reliance is self-dependent. We need not to be dependent on the other countries, because when there is high rate of saving, there will be high rate of investment, and when there is high rate of investment, we are ready to do the more production, and we will be able to meet the demand, or we can say we will be able to meet the needs of the people, and we will be able to satisfy all the demand of the people in the country, so that we need not to be dependent on other countries. Next point is economic welfare. Through the capital formation, output, income, and employment are increased in underdeveloped countries. In this increased income is properly and equably distributed among the people. It will promote economic welfare, and the target of, we can say, elevation of property will be achieved. So guys, when there will be higher rate of saving, when there will be uh, we can say high investment rate, there will be higher production, people will get employment, people will earn money, people will save money. So will be we can say there will be the welfare activity, or people will get welfare, people will be more we can say high, they will get high lifestyle, and they will be live happily. Now the next point is fuller use of natural resources. Whatever the natural resources that a company or that a country has, there will be we can say optimum use of the resources in the country, so that we can do the more production. We will be able to satisfy the needs of the people in the country. Capital formation facilities fuller use of natural resources, particularly in less developed countries like India. Natural resources remain unexplored for a want of capital formation. Arab countries could sustainability increase the production of petroleum products only on the strength of capital formation. Natural resources cannot be properly utilized without capital formation. So this is how the capital formation is important, or we can say saving is important. So guys, as we have discussed here, what is the importance of capital formation, or we can say what is the importance of saving. Now we will move further. Here we are given the table. What does the table shows us? It shows us gross domestic capital formation. Here we are given the years, and here we are given as the percentage of GDP at current market price. So we are given the percentage of GDP at current market price in the table you can see over here. And there is another table that shows us gross domestic capital formation. Here we are given the years gross domestic capital formation at current prices, gross domestic product as current prices in crore rupees. Then we can see over here, here are the capital, here the product. Now rate of gross capital formation percentage, we can see the saving over here. So this table also states such kind of data to us. We are given the information about the saving in the table. Now guys, we will see sources of saving. Here in India, or we can say in any such kind of countries where there is mixed economy has been adopted, there are three different sources, or we can say the sectors of saving. The first one is household sector saving, the second one is corporate sector saving, and third one is government sector saving. We will see over here, this sector includes the saving of household, non-profit institutions like colleges, hospitals, etc., non-corporate business. This kind of saving is made in the form of financial assets, that is bank deposit, and the other is direct investment in factories, agriculture, etc. Ratio of household sector saving to the total saving of India is about 80%. In 1997-98, total household sector saving at current prices were at rupees 2,86,231 crores. It amounted to 80.3% of gross domestic product. So guys, here are the first sector from which we get the saving is household sector. In the household sector, there will be the common people of the country who saves. Whatever we save, we just deposit our money into the bank. So this is what our saving is considered as a household saving. Now not only the common people or the common household, but non-profit institutes like college, hospital, whatever the college and hospitals and the school saves, it will be also considered in the household saving. And non-corporate business, the saving of non-corporate business will also be considered under the household sector saving. Now, second point we are given here is corporate sector saving. This sector includes the saving of companies of private sector, government companies or companies of public sector, companies of cooperative sector, that part of profit which is not distributed among the shareholders by the companies constitute their savings. Now, in the corporate sector, there will be consideration of the saving of the companies, whether it is a private company or we can say whether it is a government company. But when the companies do the saving, and we can say it is a part of profit which is not distributed among the shareholder, which is considered as a saving. And the third sector that we have, and we get the saving from government sector saving. The amount of government saving is determined by the income and expenditure of the government. It includes the saving of government departments like railways, post office and telegraph, etc. In 1977 1998 or 98, government sector saving at current prices were only 16,400 crores, constituting 1.9% of the gross domestic product. So here, as we can see, there are three different sectors of the saving. So when there will be a question asked in your exam that explain the sources of saving, you can write easily that there are three different sector of the saving. The one is household sector saving, the second is corporate sector saving, and the third is government sector saving. Now guys, we will see over here consumption, saving and investment. So here are three different terms, and we are given the saving and investment table. In the table we are given the data of different years, and we can see that gross domestic saving, the data of gross domestic saving in the different years. Under that, public, private, household means from which sector, what kind of contribution have we got. And here you can see gross domestic investment. You will get the data about public, private, valuables, GHCF, changes in stock. So all this data is given in the table, you can see over here. And we will move further. Here are we have given some of the, we can say, terms that were, that is where were, yes, consumption, saving and investment. So what is consumption, what is saving and what is investment? We can easily understand that consumption means whatever the needs of the people are. Whatever the needs of the people are, when he spends his money for the consumption, or we can say when he spends his money to satisfy his needs, it can be considered as a consumption, it can be known as a consumption. And what is saving? We know it very well that saving means whatever the total income of a person is, when we subtract the total consumption expenses from the total income, we will get saving. And what is investment? Investment means when we will when there is a saving and we will deposit our saving into the bank account, bank will collect all the saving, and it will promote, we can say it will encourage the people who wants to get a loan and who wants to invest the money. So when the saving is mobilized into the investment process, when we increased, we can say when we increase the sources, or we can say the instrument of the production, there will, we can say there is an investment. When we increase, we can say the amount of material, when we increase the machines, when we increase the volume of different thing which are used in the production process, we can say it is an investment. When we buy a land or using our money, we can say I have done the investment. So guys, what is investment? Investment means by using our saving, whenever we purchase machinery, whenever we purchase land, whenever we purchase material. So by doing such kind of thing, by buying or by purchasing such kind of products and equipment, we can say I have invested my money. So here, what is the consumption, saving and investment is very clear to you, and you can read under it very deeply. You should also need to study this data given in the table, that what kind of scenario is going on in our country. Here we are given capital formation, domestic saving plus net flow of funds from the abroad. So what is capital formation? Capital formation means domestic saving plus we need to add the net inflow of funds from the abroad. So foreign cash inflow should also be added into the capital formation, added into the domestic saving. Now here we are given causes of low rate of capital formation in India. Why there is a low rate of capital formation? Why there is a low rate of capital formation in our country? There are certain causes. The one is vicious circle of poverty. In our country there is a high rate of, or we can say there is a larger part of the country, larger population is very poor and they are not able to save their money. They just hardly satisfy their demands, they just hardly satisfy their needs, so they are not able to do the saving. And based on that we can say it is one of the cause vicious circle of poverty. When there is a high poverty, there is low rate of capital formation, or there is low rate of saving. Second point we are given here is low per capita income. In our country we can say there are two different sectors. The one is low rate of investment, the other is there is a higher population in our country is very high. So when the population is increased, or when the population is very high, there it is an obvious thing that there is a very low rate of per capita income. Now guys we will see further. Okay guys, now we will see large population. So guys there is in our country the population is very large, as we know that there is estimated population in our country at present is 135 crores. So when there is large population, the need of people is very also very high. We will see under it, India has very large population. One of its adverse effect is that per capita income of the wage earned remains low. In other words, laborers get low wages. On account of low wages, saving become next to impossible. So when people are not able to earn more, how can they save? So when there is low income, there will be no saving or the low saving. So this is also one of the cause that large population is also one of the cause of low rate of capital formation in our country. Fourth point is inflation. Inflation means price rising. So when there is a high price of the goods and services in the country, people will expense most of their money on the goods and services, and they will not be able to save money. So inflation also is one of the cause for the low rate of capital formation in our country. Now demonstration effect. Now what is demonstration effect? We will see in India, consumption expenditure has gone up under the impact of demonstration effect. This has resulted in less saving. Rich people spend lavishly on the imported luxury goods. Relatively poor people try to imitate the living standard of the rich people. As a result, the bulk of income goes in the consumption. Little is saved for capital formation. Guys, you can understand this very well. Means when the rich class people are used to spend their money on the luxurious goods, and a poor or middle class people need to we can say imitate them. They just try to copy the rich class people, so they will also spend most of their savings on the luxurious goods, so they will not be able to save more, because poor people has not a heavy rate of income. They have no much income or the saving, and whatever the income of the income or the saving they have, when they try to imitate the rich people's habit, they will spend most of their saving on the luxuries and imported goods. So there will be low rate of capital formation, because of when they imitate the rich class people, they will not be able to save more. Now the sixth point is heavy taxation. Guys, you know it very well that when the rate of tax is high, there will be low rate of margin. People will get low profit, because when the tax is high and when there is low rate of profit, low margin of profit, people will earn less, low profit will be got, and the saving will also be decreased. Now the 7 point that we have on the screen is less facility of investment. In our countries like India, there is no much facility of investment, so government should encourage or the promote the investment facility to the people. People should get the loan easily. People should get, we can say, a good services, or we can say a good scheme. Government should implement or the promote good scheme like Make in India, Made in India. Such kind of projects should be introduced to the country, in which people should be attracted, or people will be attracted to do the investment. So these kind of facilities should be given to the people, so that people will be ready to do the investment. Now guys, we will move further. There is a point, lack of financial institutions. Now in India, lack of financial institutions. What are financial institutions? Financial institutions are banks, insurance companies, and other financial institutions. When there is lack of financial institutions in the country, uh, there will be a low rate of investment in the country. It is an obvious thing. Large number of financial institutions, development of banking in rural areas, and reasonable rate of interest are the essential element of capital formation. But this is not so in our country. In our countries like India, there is low, or we can say there is lack of financial institutions. So people do not get much sources to do the saving. uh, Generally the people in the remote area of the country, they have no source of income. Sorry, they have source of income, but they have no source of some kind of financial institutions in which they can save their money, they can deposit their money. So government should try to promote the branches of the bank. Government should try to promote the services, or they need to spread the banking services all over the country, even in the remote area of the countries. Now guys, we have next point on the screen, that is lack of demand. What is lack of demand? Mostly Indians are poor. They have limited demand for goods, limiting the size of the market. This in turns leads to the less production. Less production causes low level of income, output, and employment. There is less saving and investment. Deficiency of demand is also the main cause of low rate of capital formation. So guys, here we can clearly understand that here in the country like India, there is low rate of the demand. People has demanded less thing, and when there is low rate of demand, there will be no need to do the more production, and there will be no requirement to do the high production of goods and services in the country. And for that, when there is low rate of production, there will be lack of employment facilities, and there need not to do the more investment on the production equipment. So this will also one of the cause of the low rate of capital formation in the country. Now guys, we will see the next point over here is lack of able entrepreneurs. So as the recent government has introduced the Make in India and Made in India schemes, before that there is no such kind of promotion to invest the money of the common people into the production houses. So here government should need to do the promotion of such kind of project, in which common people should be attracted to do the investment, and we can say an entrepreneurship environment has been established in the country, so that people will interested to do the investment or in the country in a different sector of the area. And the last point of the chapter that we have on the screen, that is lack of overhead capital. So guys, here I need not to do much explanation about the topic. Then also let's see under it, there is a shortage of overhead capital like transport, electricity, banking, social services, etc. Their paucity hinders the development of the industry and agriculture. According to the rate of capital formation is low. So guys, there is also one of the focus on the infrastructural facility, and in the countries like India, there is a lack of overhead capital, so that we are not able to do the high rate of capital formation in our country. Okay guys, that's it for today in this lecture. Now we will meet with the new chapter in the new lecture. And still, if you are left with any query, any confusion, then you can contact me by any way you can. I will try my best to reply you as soon as possible, and I will try to resolve your queries. Thank you guys. Goodbye.